Hey y'all, my name is Larry Bird and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to move down into the low country of South Carolina, around Charleston, Savannah, Georgia, and do a recipe called shrimp and grits. Let's get cooking. First, we're going to fry up 6 pieces of bacon. I use low sodium bacon for this one. We're going to use the bacon as a garnish in the end product, and we're going to use the bacon grease to make the shrimp gravy for the shrimp and grits. Okay, now let's do some chopping. Then we'll do half of a small red bell pepper, half of a small yellow bell pepper, half of an onion, and a stalk of celery. All of this we're going to chop very fine. We don't want any big chunks of vegetables in the shrimp gravy. I'm also going to do 6 cloves of garlic, chopped very fine. Some green onions. These come out of our garden. We'll use these for garnish on the finished product. Some parsley. Both will be used in the product, in the gravy, as well as we'll use it for garnish on the finished product as well. Okay, I'm going to get chopping. I'll be back. Okay, now you can see I've finished chopping. I've got onion, I've got yellow bell pepper, red bell pepper, and celery. And by the way, those ingredients are also called the Cajun Holy Trinity. I've also got some parsley. I've got the 6 cloves of garlic chopped fine. I've got andouille sausage, about 6 ounces, chopped into little pieces. And I've also got some cream, some chicken stock, and some flour to help make the gravy. And here are my shrimp. It's about a pound of shrimp, about the 16 to 21 size, per pound, that I've peeled, deveined. I took the tails off of them, and I've coated them in Tony's Creole seasoning, about 1 or 2 tablespoons. Let them sit about 30 minutes before you start cooking it. Okay, so now we're going to start the grits. We have I'm making a little bit smaller batch of grits because it's only going to be the 2 of us. So this is a 1.5 cups of water, a half cup of chicken broth that I want to bring to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, I'm going to add a half a cup of white corn grits. These are Bob's Red Mill. They're really, really good stuff. Get them at pretty much any grocery store or on Amazon. They also have yellow corn, so you can use the white or yellow corn. I prefer to use white corn for grits and yellow corn for cornmeal or for cornbread. So we'll do this. We'll boil them until they become creamy, and then at the end we'll add a little bit of half and half and a bunch of cheese. Okay, so our water's boiling. The water chicken stock combination is boiling. Now I'm going to add the grits. I'm going to slowly pour them in, stirring continuously to be sure that they don't stick and lump and cause clumps of grits. You want them to be, remember, the finished product needs to be smooth, creamy, but also thick. Okay, here we go. Now that we've got the grits going over here, we're going to get started on the gravy. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to add 2 tablespoons of that reserved bacon fat from when we fried our bacon earlier. Okay, and we're going to turn it up onto a medium heat. Okay, now we're going to start on the shrimp. But first, we have to remember to check our grits. They're sitting over here bubbling away. I want to whisk them to make sure they stay smooth and they don't get lumpy. Because I said earlier, we want this to be smooth, thick, and creamy. Okay, they look good. Coming along just fine. Good old southern grits. Now we're going to start on the shrimp. And again, this is about a pound of shrimp that I've coated in Tony's Creole seasoning. We're going to place them in here in a single layer and saute them and cook them till they're for about a minute or 2 on the one side, and then we'll turn them over and do about a minute on the other side. Till they're just so peak and not quite done. Again, we do not want to overcook them in this first step because they will continue to cook when we put them in the gravy. So again, a single layer, and let them brown. Let them cook for about 2 minutes. And while that's going, we can come over here and stir our grits again. They're looking really good. Nice and thick and creamy. Yum, yum. We want to cook them until they just become pink. Last thing you want to do is overcook your shrimp. Okay, I'm going to start turning them over. And maybe 1 minute on the other side, no longer. What we're going to want to do next is using the slotted spoon I'm going to take the shrimp out and put them on a plate to reserve them for later. But I want to leave all the juices in the pan. So you got all those good juices in there from sauteing those. Now we're going to put the andouille sausage in and do the same thing. This time we do want to cook the sausage. So we want to let this actually get brown and golden brown and delicious. So I'll continue to cook the andouille. So see where the andouille is starting to cook and get browned. Let that go for a few minutes. Probably about 4 or 5 minutes for that to cook. So once again, don't forget the grits. So a minute ago, the grits were looking quite good, but they're getting a little bit thick. So added just a touch of water to thin them out just a hair, so they continue to cook and get to where we want them to be. Okay, our andouille's done. Got some brown going on. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use a slided spoon to take them off and put them on the plate and reserve them. Okay, so now we're going to add another tablespoon of the bacon grease to the pan and let that get hot again. Don't forget to check the grits. All right, now I'm going to add the half and half to the grits. Again, it's just a splash. Kind of make it more creamy. Whisk that in and let them continue to cook for a little bit longer. Okay, we're ready to go here. Onions and peppers and celery in the pool. And we're going to cook these for about 3 or 4 minutes. Just so they start getting some brown color. Again, this is the holy trinity: onions, peppers, and celery. A staple for many Cajun dishes, as well as low country dishes like shrimp and grits, which I think is originated in the Charleston area. Okay, while the vegetables are cooking, I'm going to put some more work on the grits over here. I've added the cream, and now I'm going to add cheese. This is white cheddar, extra sharp. You can use yellow cheddar. You can use whatever you can get. You can use sharp or mild. I prefer the extra sharp for the flavor. I'm going to add quite a bit. I'm going to probably add about a cup of cheese into the grits here, because I like mine to be really cheesy. We want to continue to whisk these again to melt that cheese into the grits. That's looking really, really good. Nice and creamy. Okay. The grits are basically done. We just need to finish the gravy. Put the lid back on and let it sit here. All right. Now our veggies are starting to show some color. Just exactly what we want. Get a little brown. We'll give them another minute or two. Okay. Now that the vegetables look really good. Get some excellent color on them. Drop them on the floor, of course. And maybe the cat will eat it. We'll see. Now we want to put garlic in here. This is about 6 cloves of garlic, chopped very fine. We're only going to cook this for about a minute. We don't want the garlic to burn. We want it to just kind of you'll start to really smell it when the garlic starts to cook a little bit. But we don't want to overcook the garlic because it'll turn bitter. Just about a minute with the garlic in there. Okay, now is where we're going to start turning it into gravy. We're going to sprinkle on 2 tablespoons of flour. Stir that around to get it completely combined and distributed in the vegetables and garlic. We don't want to see any white when we're done here. We want to have all the flour basically incorporated together with the veggies. And want to cook it here for just a minute or two to kind of start breaking that flour down. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Now we're going to slowly add in our chicken stock. This is 1.25 cups of chicken stock, and we'll slowly add it in and stir it as we go so that it gets incorporated and it turns into that gravy that we're looking for. Also works to deglaze the pan too. Start seeing the thick gravy start to form. Oh yeah. I love it when a plan comes together. Look at that. I'll put the rest of it in there. Now we're going to let this cook for a couple minutes. Just really start thickening. We want to cook off all the flour. We definitely don't want a flour flavor. So we need to let this cook and thicken for a few minutes. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're almost here. We'll let that sit there and cook for about 4 or 5 minutes. See how that texture is getting all nice and creamy? Exactly what we're looking for. Oh yeah. Okay, our sauce is thickened nicely. Now we're going to pour in the cream. It's about a 1/4 cup of cream. Oh, that looks so good. We're going to let this cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. Again, we're looking for a really nice creamy gravy. As soon as this gets done, about 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to put the sausage and the shrimp back in and let them sit in for about a minute or two, and then sprinkle it with some parsley, and we'll be done. Okay, now it's time to add the shrimp and the andouille back in. You want to add the everything, including all the juices that have probably collected on the bottom of the plate. You want every bit of that goodness to go into the pan. Now we're going to stir all this around. So that all the shrimp and all the andouille are coated well in that sauce and integrated into the gravy. Oh, that is looking so good. Man, I wish you guys could smell this. It's absolutely incredible. All right, we're going to let this sit here and cook on a medium low heat for a couple minutes to let all the flavors meld together. In the meantime, I'm going to take a taste of the gravy to see where we stand with seasoning. It's one thing you got to always remember when you're cooking. Taste your food. You don't want to put something down in front of your guests or your family that hasn't been flavored properly. So yeah, always taste your food. And we'll let this sit here and cook for just another minute or so, again, for everything to kind of meld together. Stir up our grits one more time to make sure they're not sticking and lumping. Looking delicious. Okay, it's done. I'll come back and show you the finished product. Okay, here's our finished product. We've got our nice creamy grits here and our nice sauce, great gravy with shrimp and andouille to make shrimp and grits. Let's serve some up. We'll take some grits. Actually, the easier thing to do is just pour them out. Just like that. A nice helping of the creamy grits. And then a nice serving of our shrimp and andouille gravy. There you go. Shrimp and grits made in Larry Bird's kitchen. Now it's cooled off a bit. We can taste it. I'm going to garnish it with some green onions. Some of the bacon I fried up earlier. And now we can taste it. Trying to get a little bit of everything on my spoon. It's going to be hot. Oh yeah. The creaminess and cheesiness of the grits. The shrimp is cooked perfectly. the spice from the Tonys, the Holy Trinity, all cooked together in that nice creamy gravy. Wow, that's incredible. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Larry Bird Kitchen. Shrimp and grits. Wow, that turned out really, really good. I'm pretty impressed with myself. If I had a low country grandma, she'd be really proud right now. But anyway, if you like this, please click the like button. If you feel so inclined, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@LarryBirdKitchen. And look forward to talking to you next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.